everybody, and welcome back
to another match coming up.
I was making sure that you weren't going to harmonize with me.
Yeah, I wasn't going to harmonize with you.
So I delayed it. We are sitting at 2-0 in favor of Mouse over Rox.Kis right now. This is the day number 2 of the North American Star Team League. For those of you just tuning in, we just had Thorzane take out his opponent Slivko, who was performing amazing, took out so many people, all killed Team Light in the in last weekend's qualifiers. And that's how Rox.Kis got here. They got here by qualifying in the team qualifiers. Yep. I'm using that word way too much. But they qualified there, beat a ton of really, really good teams, and ultimately ended up just smashing, well, they're not smashing face here, as Mousesports is...
Mousesports is returning the favor.
Yeah, man. They're showing why they so good.
Yeah.
But we have... Who do we have up next?
Well, we've got Freyr versus Mana. These are two really, really old-school players. Freyr is a really great Brood War player. I think it was an A rank on IC Cup, which only, 10 to 15 foreigners have been able to achieve that rank. He's a really good player. Without abuse, obviously. A lot of people did that in IC Cup ladder and Brood War, but Freyr was a legitimately good player on Rox. He took players like White Raw and Strelok and Damaga. He gave them big runs for their money in WCG back in 2006, 2007. So he's definitely a player to be feared. And Mana is another old school player, although in the Brood War days, Freyr was much, much of a bigger name than Mana. Mana was kind of just starting out.
He was a baby, man.
Mana was a baby. In fact,
remember
he was like
when
15 or so.
Yeah, I know. I remember the days when I would play him in Clan Wars.
Yep,
and
USA versus Poland.
Yep, and I would smash his face.
But that
guy went Nexus first on me like every single time. I was like, I'm going to punish you so hard. And I did like just not even siege tanks, Marine Vulture timings. And he would just fall under the pressure. I was like, that's what you get for doing Nexus first.
Yeah.
Don't do it to me, Mana. Don't do it to me.
But that being said, Mana has become a really, really good player, actually.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of like the European king of Silver in that he gets second place at so many LAN events.
Yeah, and on top of that, he's also renowned as having one of the best PVTs, I think, in all of Europe. I mean, his PVT looks unstoppable at times.
Several months ago, I mean, he beat Puma in multiple Clan Wars, and he beat him. I think he beat him in like 3 different best of 3s at different times. So Mana's PVT is absolutely sick. He notoriously struggled in PvZ for a while. And I guess we're going to find out today what his PvP looks like. Yeah,
well, let's go ahead and jump into there. It's going to be Tal'Darim Altar, and we have Freyr versus Mana. Let's go ahead and get into the game. So we got Freyr starting in the bottom right-hand corner as the orange Protoss. Top right-hand corner, we have the green Protoss, Mouse Mana. Now, here's something that I want people to understand. It's actually, the maps are set. You can't change the maps.
Right.
And then you actually choose what players play for that map.
Yes.
But we have actually gone into deep theory about how to actually snipe people on particular maps.
Definitely.
Do you want to talk about it a little bit? I mean, what's the strategy about picking players for maps?
Right. Well, in the case of Mouse, I mean, so basically how this works is the teams are given the list of maps. For example, you have set 1 is on Antigua Shipyard, set 2 is on Odyssey, set 3 is on Tal'Darim, and set 4 is the 4th map, what have you, Ohana in this case. So basically, first of all, you want to look at the map. You want to find out which of your players play best on that map, and especially Tal'Darim is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like it's a Protoss favorite map, generally speaking. Protoss is really favor playing on Tal'Darim.
Yeah, they have, I mean, it depends the positions, but they can have a very nice time on it for sure.
Right, so obviously you want to have a Protoss player on Tal'Darim, so really Mouse is looking at either Mana or Hasuops. And then the next kind of step you want to consider is, what is the other team likely to put on this map? Yeah. Rox is a team that has a lot of Zergs. So what do you think about PvZ on this map? For example, would you say Protoss is favored against Zerg?
Well, I actually would say Protoss is favored against Zerg in close positions, and you spawn that 66% of the time.
Right.
So in terms of placing a Protoss on this map, I think it would be advantageous, just because there is that 1/3 chance, but you're gonna put it up to the StarCraft 2 gods and hope that you come out okay. Because if you get close positions, that's awesome. That's like if it was super pro player like Jaedong against Flash, I think Flash would win 100% of the time, or Bisu versus Jaedong, excuse me.
Right.
I think Bisu would win 100% of the time just because the positional imbalances help him out so much.
So when you take that into account, then you say, okay, if Rox puts a Zerg, we have a 2/3 chance of getting basically a free win, I guess. I mean, obviously no game is like a free win at this caliber of skill, but you know, for all intents and purposes, it's kind of a free win for them. And then you have to say, okay, Mana's really confident in PvT, so it doesn't matter if they put a Terran there because we feel confident he'll win. And then you have to say, okay, who's better at PvZ and who's better at PvP, Mana or Hasuobs? And it seems like they felt more confident in Mana at that point, so they want to put him on this map. So, for example, they really want to go for the 3-0. Obviously, you don't want to really risk it. If you lose the next map, you know, it can really potentially set you up for an ace situation. So you really want to put yourself in the best position to win with the best score possible, to just kind of avoid any mishaps. And I think that's why they decided to put Mana on this map.
Well, we do have 4-gate coming out from Mana. And I want to say that Tal'Darim Altar is like the 4-gate map.
Oh yeah, I mean
man.
it's really frustrating to play this map on ladder.
Frere went a really weird build. I do want to say that he went 2 early Zealots and then put down a Stalker. We normally never see this, just because if your opponent goes something like a fast 3 Stalker type of build, 3 Stalker opening, he can take advantage of you.
Yep.
Quite considerably, seeing that you have just a huge buildup in the amount of gas. Also, I want to say Frere went for double gas, whereas obviously Mana did not.
Yeah, he also got 3 extra probes, and I think this might end up not working out. I don't know. It really depends on kind of how aggressive Mana wants to be. But usually, you know, when you try to over probe and be a little bit greedier on that 4-gate, you really get punished for it. But it looks like Mana is not really pressing this as aggressively as I think most people who 4-gate would.
Well, he is getting his 6 Stalkers at this point. Looks like Twilight Council is coming out right now. I actually, you know, Frere, I don't even know if it's 4. No, he hasn't even scouted his opponent. So this is playing very, very risky. He doesn't have an extra, looks like an extra Stalker and a Zealot, but there's going to be another Warp in coming in pretty soon. He needs to desperately take off those 2 probes from gas and put them back onto minerals, in my opinion, because another Warp in of 4 Zealots are coming over here. Here's going to be the micro battle.
Yeah, it would be really good if Frere actually sniped that probe. That would really, really limit the reinforcements, but he's not going to. He's actually going to back off, and this is actually not looking very good for Frere.
No, it isn't.
I mean, Mana's going to be able to reinforce this very, very easily. And I don't like this decision to get sentries at all, because this choke is really, really hard to defend with sentries.
Well, it gives you 1 battle to be very successful.
Right, exactly. But
don't mess up in that, but basically, like, he needs to... There he goes. That's a perfect engagement right there.
Yeah, I think that was as good as he possibly could have done it. But again, that choke is just so wide. Mana just kind of stutter-stepped his way through, and now Frere's in a really bad position. He does have the supply advantage, but not for long. And Mana is really pressing forward. He is going to have to retreat. But Frere took quite a bit of losses. Mana is pretty far ahead in the army count. And at this stage in the game, not good. I mean, you can see Frere got the Twilight Council, but he didn't even get to start researching Blink, and Mana is just, this is not looking good.
You know, Frere is really, really tough in minerals at this point. Now pulling probes. This is in the position that he wants. He actually could not afford anything. His warp gates are actually not on cooldown at all. He just doesn't have the minerals. It's because he's mined so much gas this whole time. He's made so many sentries, and this is going to be it. I mean, Mana is just doing way too much damage at this point. He's taking out every single one of the power-hitting units, which are the Stalkers. Now finally the sentries will be targeted down. The income tab is showing 14 to 19. Another round of units coming in. Frere is going to GG out.
GG as well.
And Rox.Kis will fall 0-3, a very disappointing loss for them.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody saw them losing that decisively.
Right. No, I think, I don't know. I'm kind of confused as to what Frere was doing in that game. I mean, first of all, I know, like, for example, I know Hasuobs does a really good job in a lot of PvPs he plays. He gets that second gas, but really what he does is he'll only put 1 probe on the second gas, so he gets, like, slightly more gas. And then when you over probe like that, if you get, you know, 1 or 2 extra probes on minerals, that really boosts your economy, as opposed like 22 probes as opposed to 20 is a pretty nice advantage. And then you get that 4th probe on gas, so that allows you to kind of slow roll into a 4-gate blink.
Exactly.
And that's what I thought Freyr was going to do, but he kind of overproduced.
Just to let you guys know, every single minute, it's not exact. It's around, if you have that extra probe, it's almost a full stalker of gas.
Right.
So that's where it comes from. Instead of warping in a Zealot, I can warp in a Stalker. All of a sudden, I have better firepower. I can do a lot more stuff. Right. So it might seem like, oh, it's just one more probe. No, it's one more Stalker every single minute. So that represents a lot when you're defending, especially when you're defending against 4-gate, when it's very, very tight. That's why when we saw 6 gas on him, it was like,
really confusing.
How the hell are you going to be able to spend all that gas? I mean, and he had to go sentry. He was forced into sentries.
Yeah, and the other thing was that Freyr played it so blindly. I mean, he didn't even get any scouting information at all on Mana. And I mean, the fact that like Mana just went for the very kind of textbook 20 probes straight into a 4-gate.
Yeah.
And that means that, for example, your especially your 3rd warp-in really is going to start becoming just Zealots. And that 4th probe on gas from Freyr would have allowed him to get in those extra Stalkers that would have allowed him to kite the Zealots and pretty much negate that 4-gate and possibly allow him to then research Blink, transition into putting more on gas, and then,
That's another. I mean,
really good job
if he knew the
game.
4-gate was coming, the Twilight Council is just super out of place.
Right.
I understand you want to get it, but just make sure you can defend against. I don't care if you get sentries a little bit earlier, chrono boost out your gateways. Just defend the 4-gate. It's just unfortunate because he wasn't even scouting that whole time.
Yeah, especially on Tal'Darim when you kind of know
it's a 4-gate map.
Yeah,
but that goes into the rock paper scissors mind games of Tal'Darim Altar. It's like, well, I know you're going to 4-gate, so I'm going to defensive 4-gate, and it's like, well, I know you're going to defensive 4-gate, so I'm going to go for Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, try to be a little bit greedy.
Well, I know you're going Blink Stalkers, so I'm going to go for a 4-gate. It's like.
Yeah, that was kind of three levels of mind games there.
Yeah, I guess so.
But Mana. I mean, Mana just exhibited some pretty textbook play, and Freyr kind of got punished for being a little bit greedy. I mean, there's really not much more to say than that.
Yep, Tal'Darim Altar definitely a tough PvP map, but that's going to do it. It's a 3-0 to Mousesports. Congratulations to them. They are going to be tied with Team Empire, and unfortunately, of course, Rox is going to fall to. The level of evil geniuses. Oh my goodness,
that's not good. I mean,
I know, right? I mean, that just shows you the power of all these players in this team league.
Yeah,
and I'm really glad to be casting. So actually, that's going to wrap things up for today. We want to thank our sponsors, of course, NASL Monitors, the monitor supplier really of NASL. Also, we want to thank iBuyPower. iBuyPower is the system supplier of the NASL. Want to also mention, let's see, there's Cooler Master
and
awesome.
Kingston HyperX. And later this weekend, actually, we're going to be giving away a 16 gigabyte flash drive by Kingston HyperX to our amazing Twitter followers. So you can check our Twitter, check our Facebook for details about that. We'll announce it this weekend as well.
Dude, they're so manner, man. They give away so much stuff.
Yeah, Kingston they do, actually. I think we gave away 15 or 20 flash drives, and we had a bunch of solid-state drives, too, at the NASL Season 2 finals for all the people that went there.
That's freaking awesome, man.
That was pretty awesome.
And, and of course, Gosu Coaching, thank you to them. We use the GCPL top 4 people as a reference to obviously come into our league. Go check out Gosu Coaching, of course.
We have some amazing coaches like Gretorp.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
Look at that.
Anyway,
I wish I could afford coaching from you.
I know. For you, $500 an hour.
Damn.
For everybody else, it's much lower. It's like 1% of that. No,
$5.
Yeah, $5. $5 for all of you. All right.
Dude, you just screwed yourself, man. You're gonna get a million TMs.
Anyway, guys, that's gonna do it. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you tomorrow, where you can catch us at 6 p.m. PST.
Yep.
Catch you then.
Or if you missed the games, you can check out the European rebroadcast, or check out the VODs. Free 1080p.
They might be
YouTube.
watching the European rebroadcast right now.
Well,
how dare you?
Oh yeah, they could be. But
so enjoy all you Europeans.
Yeah, free 1080p VODs. Check out YouTube.
NA Star League. Anyway, later, guys.
Bye bye.